It's that time again, and this time it's Herrerasaurus. It's been a while since we've seen this little dude, and unfortunately I caught well, no, actually I caught it, I lost about an hour. I think it was just a short stream this time, actually, come to think of it. Because he started streaming around 11 something my time, and I ended up catching it around 12 something. So, it's close enough, it's pretty good. Anyhow, aside from missing about an hour, I mean, it's a okay stream overall. By the time I got here, it was basically already done and he was just tweaking it so it didn't look quite so funky while the animation was playing. I don't know if this was already a mostly done animation that he was just touching up to begin with, or if this is one he had done from the start. Again, I didn't see the first, I think it was hour. So, I mean, during that hour, it's possible he could have, you know, made the entire animation. He's sometimes very, very fast. Other times, like, during the fix-ups here, it takes ages. He spent the entirety of what I caught just kind of tweaking the animation, which, I mean, it is what it is. The tiny little details are going to be the most time-consuming, I swear. Like, getting it to the point where it looks like it's climbing, yeah, no problem. But making it look not so funky, or making the arms not clip through things, or the fingers not twist weird, or the tail not just go berserk, that's gonna be where it gets you, it seems. Which, yeah, I can relate to that. That's, you get most of the big project thing done, and then there's all these little itty bitty things that just keep popping up, and yeah, gosh. The patience involved with doing animation is very, very high. But anyhow, I've talked about that before. Herrera, it's looking pretty cute. I originally wasn't too interested in Herrera, but the more I see of it, the more it does look kind of fascinating. I'll probably try it out when it comes out. It does look pretty neat. Cerato and Troodon right now are probably still gonna end up being my favorites, but we'll see how this little guy goes. I always liked the Hunter in Left 4 Dead because of how he could move around, so well, that and his design. He looks really cool, so of course I liked him. But, this guy reminds me of that. So we'll see how it goes. I'm very curious. Hopefully he does have a decent amount of fall reduction, because otherwise it's gonna be a bit of a pain. They said he would have a little bit less, but I don't know what their definition of a little bit less is. Because right now I know there's certain dinosaurs where if you fall like a foot, your leg is gonna snap. Which, I mean, on some cases people will go, well, when it's a bajillion-ton creature and it's falling this far, you're gonna break a leg. To which I say, an elephant can go downstairs and not break its legs, so I mean, that and elephants will rear up and stomp last I knew, so I mean, that's pretty darn, you know, taxing on the legs, and yet the legs are not broken. These creatures are designed to be able to take some sort of shock, but apparently a 1 foot drop is a little bit too much to handle. So we'll just hope that this guy can last a little bit higher of a drop, because I imagine, like, even at the base of a tree, jumping off of there would be an instinct for most people. For me, I'd get near the end of the tree and then I'd want to bounce off, instead of just going all the way down to the bottom of the tree and, you know, touching the ground and ending the climb. But if this guy can't handle drops like that, then, well, yeah, we'll see. That said, a lot of things that live in trees will often have adaptations for, you know, being able to handle large falls. Originally I went on a tangent about squirrels here, but then I realized, duh, leopards right there, and a lot of what, you know, Herrera was based off, judging from concept art and whatnot. A leopard can jump out of a tree just fine and not, you know, shatter into a million pieces. So that's a great example of an animal that has a good amount of mass. Like, leopards aren't exactly small animals, and can jump from a tree in order to, you know, do what it needs. And drag things up a tree, too, which requires an immense amount of strength. But, I mean, you guys know that. There's no confirmation or anything that Herrera can do that. I imagine it can at least get a meat chunk up there, but I don't know if they'll let it, you know, actually drag corpses that it can carry up trees or not. I don't remember if there's been any actual, you know, confirmation one way or another on that. It's been too long. It would be nice if it could. Again, a leopard can do it. Like an entire gazelle thingy-majiggy up the tree. So that would make sense for Herrera. But, I don't know if they're gonna allow it to do that or not. Anyhow, that aside, overall thoughts on the stream, which I kind of covered at the start, but we'll do a little bit more on now. Animation looks pretty nice. I mean, it does what it needs to do. I'm not too picky, as I've said, unless there's something, you know, horrifically wrong with it. I'm probably not gonna really notice. It does what it needs to do, it climbs, it's, you know, it is what it is. So not much on that. I did miss about an hour of the stream, so there's that, but I caught enough. It was okay. By this point it was just touching things up, and I imagine this animation has probably been around for a while because Herrera has been in the works for a while. It sounds like it's actually in testing or something like that, so I mean, hey, it's probably had a rough version of Climb for a while and this was just sort of, you know, polishing it. And it does look quite nice, at least to me. There's probably something that other people will pick up on, but to me it does what it needs to, as I said, so not too bothered by it. And with that all done, it goes to the part where I ramble on for a while because I try to have a good amount that's my stuff versus their stuff. You guys know the drill by now. I did play the Isle quite a while back. Gosh, I think it was last month or something. I don't remember anymore. It was about a week or so after the update came out. I've been meaning to go over that footage, and I've had a meme almost done for a while, but actually getting the final touches on it I haven't had to, well, there's part I haven't had time to do it, and there's part I haven't wanted to do it. The last week in the Discord stuff was very quiet, and it was a nice little break for a while because I got to focus on some other stuff I'm working on, relax a little bit. Frankly, I didn't want to open my editing software because I don't, aside from around Christmas, there's not a whole lot of points in which everything is radio silent. And it's terrible for the channel. I mean, I should have been uploading the gameplay stuff I've had for, what was it? The Monster Hunter stories. But on one hand, I haven't been happy with how that came out because it took me a while to get the keyboard sounds muffled out because I hadn't set up OBS quite right just yet. And on the other hand, there's also the fact that, I wasn't used to doing solo videos very well, and it shows, and it's bad. Which, I mean, you know, it's so, some people enjoy seeing people grow in their videos. Like, some people will go back and watch Markiplier's first video and compare it to where he's at now and be like, wow, that's amazing. However, uploading these, people don't always realize these are months, a year. It's over a year, actually. It's been a year. Those are about a year old. And, yeah, do I want to upload year-old footage as if it's new, even though I'll say it's not new, people will think it's new? Probably not. I should probably just go through again and record it again, but unfortunately it would be a case of I'm playing this game again instead of I'm playing this game for the first time and trying to figure out how everything works. So it's a little bit more streamlined when you know what you're doing. So it's trying to balance between what's entertaining and what's agitating to watch. So I need to decide on that. Like a lot of the ARC footage I had way back in the day, I had to get rid of because it was taking too long to process it all. And ARC footage takes up so much space. It's like the game that also takes up so much space that I also have to re-download because it borked. It had some sort of infinite update thing going on in Steam, and I've never had any other game do this before. It's always ARC that does stuff like this. But it would basically update, and then it would update again, and it would continuously do this throughout the day. And I caught it later on, and I'm like, well, how long has it been doing this? And so I tried validating the files, I tried all sorts of cache clearing stuff, changing settings, all this sort of stuff. I did not want to uninstall ARC, because that is almost 400 gigabytes of game that I'm going to have to re-download later on when I want to play it again. I couldn't figure out how to get it to stop. It never stopped. I restarted Steam. I think I restarted the computer. I did everything I could. it wouldn't stop. So I had to uninstall Arc, and it is the biggest blow ever. Like, my space is grateful, my computer is happy, because doing videos takes up a lot of space. Like, I'll clear out the stream stuff when I'm done with it, but when it comes to gameplay stuff, unless I go through it very quickly, it builds up, and problems happen. So I tend to nuke the Arc stuff after I'm done with it. I haven't been recording Arc lately, even though it's definitely one I should be doing because of all the stupid stuff that happens in it. And I'll probably end up nuking the Monster Hunter Stories ones at this point. It does, I mean, it gets more tolerable over time, but it could just be because it's me, and I don't like watching my own stuff because, of course, not. But I don't think it's at all, it's not up to par. I'm not happy with it. And so uploading and working on that starts to become a little bit more of a chore over time, you know. And technically speaking, the Isle is more of what I should be uploading, and I did play it recently, and I do need to go through that. But, yeah. Anyhow, so that's the state of that stuff that most people aren't going to care about, but if you are watching this far, you're probably one of the few that might, so that's what's been going on there. I will start definitely working on that more often, and there's still the concept art one that I have to go through again. I haven't been touching it quite as much. I want to shave it down more, because it's very, very long, and I'm willing to bet it doesn't have to be that long. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna leave it alone for a while, let it simmer, and then I'm gonna go back and go through it again. But that's a lot of footage to go through, so finding the time to go through it, and so it piles up. It's stuff that when you don't want to work on video stuff, you don't want to touch it, versus the Isle stuff where it's usually pretty fast, and gameplay editing is also pretty fast compared to something that you're trying to make from scratch. So it's just like, oh, God. But anyway, that's enough of that for sure. It is time to call it. Have a great day, night, whatever time you end up seeing this or whenever this gets posted. Thank you for watching this far. I don't know why you do, but thank you. And goodbye.
Thank you.